Oh man, LinkedIn is in some serious trouble because they have been spying on you this entire time. So, LinkedIn, the job social media that people use to find jobs, network with people, and try to further their careers, well, they've actually been exposed for spying on you. Remember that they also work with Persona Identities, one of the biggest ID verification vendors out there. And LinkedIn has been illegally searching your computer, and they, with Microsoft, are running one of the largest corporate espionage operations in modern history. Huge shout out to Fairlinked EV for doing this research, but man, we got to get into this because this is crazy. So, LinkedIn is illegally searching your computer. Every time any one of LinkedIn's 1 billion users visits LinkedIn.com, hidden code searches their computer for installed software, collects the results, and transmits them to LinkedIn servers and to third-party companies, including an American-Israeli cybersecurity firm. The user is never asked, never told. LinkedIn's privacy policy does not mention. Because LinkedIn knows each user's real name, employer, and job title, it is not searching anonymous visitors. It is searching identified people at identified companies, millions of companies every day all over the world. And I actually have something to add to this as well. If you guys recall, I did a video about a month ago talking about LinkedIn sending your face and other personal data to a quote global network of third-party data sources. And of course, they were using Persona to do so. So basically, somebody wants to have a better chance of getting noticed on LinkedIn, so they go ahead and verify their identity. What Persona was collecting was your full name, passport photo, selfie, facial geometry, NFC chip data, national ID number. You get the idea. And LinkedIn was sending that information to a bunch of other people, meaning that everyone who verified with LinkedIn, your information is possibly everywhere. Well, now LinkedIn themselves have not only been sending your information everywhere, but they've also been collecting it and harvesting it, and this could lead to one of the biggest data leaks of all time. The folks over at Fairlinked have dubbed this BrowserGate. They're an association of commercial LinkedIn users who represent the professionals who use LinkedIn, the business that invest in and depend on the platform, and the toolmakers who build products for it. So BrowserGate is their investigation and campaign to document one of the largest corporate espionages and data breach scandals in digital history, to inform the public and regulators, to collect evidence, and to raise funds for the legal proceedings required to stop it. So this is what they found. A mass breach of personal data. LinkedIn scan reveals the religious beliefs, political opinions, disabilities, and job search activity of identified individuals. LinkedIn is scanning for extensions that identify practicing Muslims, extensions that reveal political orientation, and extensions built for neurodivergent users, and 509 job search tools that expose who is secretly looking for work on the very platform where their current employer can see their profile. Under EU law, this category of data is not regulated. It is prohibited. LinkedIn has no consent, no disclosure, and no legal basis. Its privacy policy does not mention any of this. LinkedIn scans for over 200 products that directly compete with its own sales tools, including Apollo, Lucia, and Zoom Info. Because LinkedIn knows each user's employer, it can map which companies use which competitor products. It is extracting the customer list of thousands of software companies from their users' browsers without anyone's knowledge. It kind of reminds me of what Honey was doing. If you guys remember that whole Honey thing that was exposed by this YouTuber Megalag, Honey was going into your browser and sniping affiliate commissions away, and this LinkedIn thing is pretty similar as well. They're infiltrating your browser without you even knowing, and they're going ahead and taking your information as a result of it. LinkedIn has already sent enforcement threats to users of third-party tools using data obtained through this covert scanning to identify its targets. In 2023, the EU designated LinkedIn as a regulated gatekeeper under the Digital Markets Act and ordered it to open its platform to third-party tools. LinkedIn's response is, it published 2 restricted APIs and presented them to the European Commission as compliance. Together, these APIs handle approximately 0.07 calls per second. Meanwhile, LinkedIn already operates an internal API called Voyager that powers every LinkedIn web and mobile product at 160,000 calls per second. In Microsoft's 249-page compliance report to the EU, the word API appears 533 times. Voyager appears 0 times. At the same time, LinkedIn expanded its surveillance of the exact tools the regulation was designed to protect. The scan list grew from roughly 461 products in 2024 to over 6,000 by February 2026. The EU told LinkedIn to let third-party tools in. LinkedIn built a surveillance system to find and punish every user of those tools. They are shipping your data to third parties, and this is something that we already talked about last month in that video I was telling you guys about, but LinkedIn loads an invisible tracking element from Human Security, formerly Perimeter X, an American-Israeli security firm, 0 pixels wide, hidden off screen that sets cookies on your browser without your knowledge. A separate fingerprinting script runs from LinkedIn's own servers. A third-party script from Google executes silently on every page load. All of it encrypted, none of it disclosed. And if you're going to tell me that Persona Identities, Rick Song's company, has no involvement here, I would not believe you for a second. These guys have been working together to collect, harvest, and send your information to third parties. And now with this whole BrowserGate thing that is happening with LinkedIn, I would not be surprised if Persona was involved at all. So just some of the key numerical takeaways, right? The investigation alleges LinkedIn secretly scans users' browsers for over 6,000 extensions and potentially affected 405 million people worldwide. LinkedIn apparently denies the allegation, stating browser detection is used solely to protect platform integrity and prevent scraping violations. Yeah, you can miss me with that bullshit. There's no way that that's true. Remember, like I said a month ago, LinkedIn and by extension Persona already got exposed like a month ago for collecting all this information from you just because you want to verify your profile on LinkedIn. Look at all this information they were getting about you just so you can have a better chance of getting a job on LinkedIn. I mean, it is insanity. Some of their quote global network of trusted third-party data sources included government databases, national ID registries, consumer credit agencies, utility companies, mobile network providers, and postal address databases. This person scanned their passport for a check mark, but they ran a background check. And of course, with all of these AI verification companies like Persona and by extension LinkedIn using them, most of the time they are really just going to be using your information to train their AI. And remember, in the whole BrowserGate thing where LinkedIn was snooping around your browser and taking all your information, this was just some of the information they got just from Persona. Your full name, birth year, government ID, verification result, and a blurred version of your ID. So they were already receiving plenty of information from Persona where they were going ahead and being able to send that to all these trusted third-party sources or whatever the fuck. So in terms of the regulation of LinkedIn, once again, shout out to these guys for doing this research. In 2024, Microsoft was designated as a gatekeeper under the Digital Markets Act in the EU. The two regulated products are Microsoft Windows and Microsoft LinkedIn. The Digital Markets Act mandates the gatekeepers follow business users and authorized third-party free, effective, high-quality, continuous, and real-time access to all data, including personal data that is generated through the use of LinkedIn. This is the slimiest shit I've seen in a while. Instead of complying with this regulation, Microsoft decided to distract EU regulators in Brussels with what can only be described as a compliance theater. It was the API Voyager thing that we were talking about. And that's when LinkedIn started injecting malicious code into the browsers of their users without their knowledge or their consent. 6,222 software products specifically, maybe even more through the investigation, with a base of about 405 million people. And that's because LinkedIn knows each visitor's name, employer, and job title. Every detected extension is matched to an identified individual. And because LinkedIn knows where each user works, these individual scans aggregate into detailed profiles of companies, institutions, and government agencies, revealing which software tools their employees use without the organization's knowledge or consent. And obviously, most, if not all, companies have a privacy policy, so you'd think that LinkedIn would disclose all of this in there, right? Nope, LinkedIn has not disclosed this practice in its privacy policy. There is no mention of extension scanning in any public-facing document. So I'll leave a link to the BrowserGate.eu website in the comments, but basically here's some of the things that you can do to stop BrowserGate. One, check if your tools are on the list. Like I said, I'll leave the link in the description. Here's a list of extensions that LinkedIn scans for. This big-ass list over here. Over 6,000 extensions over here. Definitely go ahead and look it up. Just enter your extension's name or ID to see it in LinkedIn's actual JavaScript code. It'll take you like 10 seconds. Number two, obviously, just like with any of these, scandalous companies and situations, I mean, corruption is just so normalized nowadays. And like I said, Persona and by extension, Rick's song, I'm sure you guys are involved in this in some way. I do not trust you guys at all. Share this around, right? Share this video around, share the articles around that I'm going to put in the comments. Number four says, talk to the press. I mean, that's pretty similar to what we're talking about. Just share this around, share this video around, share the articles I put in the comments around, and just make sure that people know about this and go ahead and boycott LinkedIn. And they also have a legal fund over here that you can support, because obviously LinkedIn might take these guys to court and silence them through the sheer money that it's going to require to have this court case going. And you can also obviously send letters to your local data protection authority, Microsoft or LinkedIn directly, your national IT security authority, or your member of parliament or MEP in the United States, your House of Representatives people or your senators. And you can also request your data from LinkedIn. You can send them a GDPR subject access request and demand that they disclose which extensions they detected on your browser, when they scanned your browser, what data they stored, who they shared it with, and their legal basis for processing. Do not ask for the standard data export. Ask specifically for extension detection data, device fingerprinting data, and any records transmitted via their AED event and spectroscopy event tracking systems. Send a GDPR request, pre-filled template. And you can also file a complaint with your data protection authority, and you could register as a potential co-plaintiff, because if LinkedIn loses a case, you might actually be eligible to get some money. And yeah, this is a crazy situation. So yeah, once again, shout out to Fairlinked EV for all this research. You guys are doing some great work. Screw LinkedIn, and by extension, no pun intended, screw Persona as well. I don't trust Persona for a single second, and yeah, this is insane. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. LinkedIn has been exposed for harvesting your data and actually snooping around your browser. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more. See ya.